Welcome to another installment of MGSC Art.
Oh, hi. Today we're going to do glazing, so how to glaze your pots. Now we're going to do this lovely bowl that Miss Johnson made on the wheel. So it's been bisque fired, so it's been fired the first time. You know, because it pings. You need to make sure you bisque fire your work before you glaze it, or there's no guarantee that the glaze will work. So the first thing we need to do is clean it up a bit. If there's any bits that stick out or any pointy bits, sometimes you end up with odd bits hanging out. So sand it down, make sure it's all smooth. When you've done that, you can get a damp sponge. Here's one I prepared earlier, and wipe it down so that you get all the clay dust off. If you glaze it with the dust on it, then it will be in your glaze and it won't look very nice. So it doesn't take very long to dry. So while that dries, we'll look at our glazes. So these are just brush on glazes. You don't need to add anything to them. You just want to make sure you stir them, because all of the colour pigment stuff settles at the bottom. If you don't stir it, then your colours might not be as bright. So we want to make sure we stir it. We've chosen leaf green and clear. Today we're going to do two colours. It doesn't really matter which colour you start with, it's totally up to you. So I might start with the clear one, so give it a bit of a stir. I know I used this before, so it's pretty good to go. You just want to get a little bit on your brush. You preferably want to use the nice soft Reiku brushes, but if you can just use a normal paintbrush if that's all you've got, it just might not be as even. You want to have a decent amount on, and when you put the glaze onto a round thing, you want to try and swirl it, if possible, to make it nice and even, and follow the grain of the bowl, because it will come out a nice and more even finish. Aiming to put your glaze on evenly is the number one thing that you want to think about when you're glazing your work, because if you put it on unevenly, it will fire unevenly and you'll have fat patches and thin patches and weird things going on. So make sure you try and put it on evenly. You're going to need to do more than one coat. So start with one and then you let it dry. Glaze will dry a lot quicker than paint, so you'll find that you'll be able to do the next coat a lot quicker anyway. So I'm just going to do this clear down to maybe like 1 centimetre down the rim. So I'm just going to move the bowl and try and keep my glaze hand strong, so it's nice and straight. If you've got one of the spinny, the hand wheels, you can sit on that. Some people do that and it works quite well. We have some of those in the cupboard. So the clear glaze is pretty hard to see on your piece, so you just have to be really careful that you're not going over and over the same section. Okay, so we've done one clear. It's a bit easier if you use another brush to do the next one. Really use the wrong brushes the wrong way here, because this is going to be really annoying. So when you do the bottom, the thing you need to think about is how you're going to sit it when it fires. This one's got a lovely foot that's been put on it. The foot is this bit that sticks up. You don't want to paint that. The reason you don't want to paint that is so when we put it in the kiln, we put a little prop on it. If we put the little prop onto a piece that's glazed, when the glaze fires and turns into glass, it's going to stick to it and you won't be able to get it off, which is very annoying. So then what we'll do is hit it with a hammer and knock it off, and it might bring a piece of your piece off with it, which is really annoying. So leave the foot unglazed. You probably want to stop about, it's really hard to see, but about there. So leave just a little bit of space. So then when we put it in, it's all good. So all you're going to do then is glaze around the bottom like this. Make sure that's nice and straight. Glaze up to my line like that. All I'm going to do is do 3 coats of that and make sure that all my coats are really even and the best that I can possibly do, and then it's ready to go. You just leave it to put in the kiln for its second firing and it'll be done. Enjoy!